tip, alright? You're on the edge now and you need to pick the right way. Because one way's heaven and the other...
Introduced as the overarching villain of the Half-Life franchise, the G-Man is a mysterious entity who has dedicated his life toward helping his employers. He appears as a middle-aged businessman across the series, and seems to disappear after delivering cryptic messages to the protagonists, and often luring them under his control. Voiced by Michael Shapiro, the G-Man was responsible for altering the course of history in the Half-Life universe by influencing events such as the Black Mesa incident, the 7-Hour War, and the Combine Empire's brutal occupation of Earth. Today, we'll explore his mysterious appearances and life story, and tell you all about this interdimensional mastermind of the Half-Life series. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Some small repayment owed for your own survival.
Who is the G-Man? What is his role in Half-Life? Across all the games, the G-Man is typically spotted in a corner as he observes the player or strolls around the arena. He seems to be a Caucasian man in his mid-40s, and he's always spotted wearing a blue suit with a tie, and a signature suitcase that contains his computer, a pistol, an identity card, and some stationery. He's also identified by his stiff features and flat hair with a widow's peak, and bright blue eyes that seemingly glow in the dark. While these are his notable features, the G-Man is characterized by his omnipresent nature and soothing, raspy voice. He's also often seen slurring his words or taking long pauses before uttering syllables in an unnatural voice, which suggests that English might not be his first language. He typically appears in an uptight manner, as he obsessively fixes his suit to appear sharp or wipes dirt off his shoes, much like a bureaucrat with a sinister side.
The Combine off Earth. I want the Combine off Earth.
What is G-Man's personality like? While we have established that G-Man typically presents himself as a government official, his behavior is also quite stoic and bureaucratic. He maintains composure in dire situations, and handles catastrophes such as the Black Mesa incident in an extremely professional manner. He also looks after Gordon Freeman and Adrian Shepard, guiding them in a polite yet cryptic tone. G-Man seems to be a loyal employee who rarely takes responsibility for his actions, believing he's merely following orders. He likens his job to setting up dominoes and knocking down the first one, leaving nature to handle the rest and subdue the situation. However, this is not always the case. He once took responsibility for nuking an entire facility and eliminating most witnesses in Half-Life. He eventually developed a more malicious personality, which became evident when he kidnapped Alex Vance against her will and even abandoned Freeman. How does the G-Man influence the Black Mesa incident? Much to no one's shock, G-Man was responsible for not only starting the Black Mesa incident, but also ending it. One of his employees, named Eli Vance, revealed that it was G-Man who had supplied the Black Mesa with the Zen Crystal, which was eventually tracked down as the main cause of the accident. In addition to this, he was responsible for reactivating the nuclear warhead that eventually led to the facility's destruction. Over time, G-Man reveals that he didn't feel any remorse for his actions, and he only went through with it because one of his employers had ordered him to do so. Over the course of the game, we learn that the Black Mesa scientists constantly travel to other dimensions to capture aliens and bring them back to their homeworld to research them, and that this posed a great threat to their security in addition to causing interdimensional conflicts. To tackle this, the G-Man was looped in to silence them before anything major broke out, and the nuclear warhead did manage to wipe out all alien species in the facility. However, there were many open interdimensional rifts that brought aliens into the facility, and the G-Man then nuked them as well to ensure that they were shut forever. What is the G-Man's role in Half-Life 2? In Half-Life 2, G-Man stepped up to the task of waking Gordon up from his 20-year-long stasis in the aftermath of the Black Mesa incident. Soon enough, he starts following Gordon around and eventually makes his presence known after Gordon significantly destroys the dark energy reactor and causes a major explosion. While this could have been fatal to him, G-Man appeared out of nowhere and mentioned that he had managed to accomplish a whole lot in a short period of time. He even brought up the offers he had received for Freeman's services and briefly talked about the illusion of free will before stating that he would pick the most suited offer for him. While Gordon remembered the time he was put in stasis just because he accepted the G-Man's offer in the past, he soon snapped back to reality when G-Man teleported them to a black void. As they moved across the void in a tram car, G-Man apologized for this supposedly arbitrary imposition before declaring that Gordon would himself realize what was happening. However, he soon stops talking at the risk of revealing more than he should and bids goodbye before taking his leave, while Gordon is left all alone in stasis once again. Why did G-Man capture Alex in Half-Life? Roughly 5 years before Gordon traveled to City 17, a 19-year-old Alex embarked on a journey to look for her father Eli, after he was taken into captivity by Combine forces. Eli had supposedly spotted something strange at the city's quarantine zone, and Alex and Vortigaunt somehow managed to save Eli from a crashed train. Eli then revealed that the Combine were secretly guarding a superweapon known as the Vault in the depths of the quarantine zone, and even asked Alex to retrieve it for him so they could keep it safe. While Alex located the Vault, we learn that Eli hoped that it would contain the body of Gordon Freeman. However, a surprised Alex learns that it contained none other than the G-Man, who had apparently been imprisoned by the Combine, who viewed him as a threat. Now that he had been freed, G-Man expressed his gratitude to Alex for freeing him, and even went as far as to offer her his powers. He mentioned his ability to modify reality, and Alex then requested him to eradicate the Combine from Earth. While G-Man mentioned that this was too big of a request, he gave her a chance to save her father, and also gave her a glimpse into the future, where he would be killed by the Combine advisor. Determined to save her father, Alex changes the course of reality by killing the advisor before he can kill Eli, and G-Man then deemed her worthy of replacing Gordon. After determining that Gordon had grown unworthy of performing his missions, he placed Alex into the same stasis as him despite her requests. In a post-credit scene, we see Gordon as he finally snaps out of his stasis and tells Eli about G-Man's decision to hire her daughter, while our mysterious bureaucrat observes the scene from a distant balcony. What are G-Man's powers and abilities? For starters, the G-Man seems to have quite an extraordinary hold over technology, and he can operate a variety of machines, ranging from mobile phones to complex nuclear warheads, teleports, and interdimensional portals. He often appears out of nowhere and disappears without a trace in nearly all his appearances, but fans have spotted him using portals on a couple of occasions. He also has the ability to create portals out of thin air, control time, and even freeze it in order to save his allies by teleporting them to different dimensions and putting them into stasis. G-Man's ability to time travel was highlighted in Half-Life: Alyx, wherein he managed to travel about 5 years into the future to show Alex how her father might die before even giving her the opportunity to change the course of the future. This also hints at his temporal manipulation abilities, and he was also spotted shifting in a multitude of his copies during this entire interaction. This suggests that he can be at multiple locations at once, and that he can supposedly predict and experience innumerable futures before they even occur. Different clones of his body were seen leaving the scene as he answered Alex's questions one by one, suggesting that every single one of his answers created a whole new timeline in the multiverse. The G-Man is notable for his ability to manipulate other senses and trick them into perceiving or hearing things that he wants them to hear, but he is also known for his weakness to Vortigaunt energy. What are the theories about G-Man's true identity? Initially, it was theorized that G-Man was none other than the mysterious Administrator, who appeared in many of the original Half-Life's expansion packs. These packs had a cut audio file that referred to him as the Administrator, and the game's mods often labeled him as one until the release of Half-Life 2. This game finally revealed that G-Man's true identity was Dr. Wallace Breen, a secondary antagonist who was associated with the Black Mesa operation, which only made G-Man a greater mystery than before. How does G-Man interact with Gordon Freeman? Since G-Man's character is notoriously known for lurking in the background while Gordon Freeman tries to survive in Black Mesa, they've had very limited interactions across the series. In one such instance, the G-Man teleported Gordon away to an elevator-like setting after he defeated the Nilanth, and went as far as to take away all of his weapons under the pretense that they were government property. He then started complaining about his employers and how they had taken control of Zen before praising Gordon's unlimited potential. During his rant, G-Man continuously teleported them all around Zen, and eventually took him to a Black Mesa tram as they traveled across space at a high speed. He finally gives him an offer to work under him before opening a portal to an unknown location, while Gordon hesitates to step through it. Sensing his reluctance, an enraged G-Man then teleports him to face an entire army of alien grunts, and even gives him a speech about how he had annihilated their race, and that they wanted revenge. While Gordon is left defenseless without any weapons, G-Man leaves the scene, and Gordon contemplates between entering the portal or fighting an army of alien grunts who are determined to murder him. When Gordon entered the portal, G-Man appeared to congratulate him on his decision, and put him in stasis while he awaited the Combine invasion. What is G-Man's relationship with the Vortigaunts? In Half-Life 2 Episode 1, G-Man emerged through the same door as the end of the previous game and found himself surrounded by a bunch of Vortigaunts with glowing blue eyes. While G-Man seemed quite entertained by their appearance, he soon grew serious as he saw many more of them arrive at the scene. While his emotions shifted from amusement and mild annoyance to full-blown rage, he came to the realization that the Vortigaunts wanted to take Gordon Freeman out of his stasis dimension. He immediately straightened up and fixed his tie before warning them that they would have to see about taking Gordon away. But the purple Vortigaunts managed to grab Gordon and escape before the G-Man could resist them. While he's a seemingly fearless character, the G-Man appears to be a tad bit helpless when it comes to the Vortigaunts, especially since he has an inherent weakness to their energy. Marvelous verdict. And with that, we've explored the G-Man's tumultuous story arcs and all his accomplishments across the Half-Life universe. He's certainly led several interesting missions for his so-called employers, and at the same time managed to create a lasting legacy for himself. We hope you enjoyed exploring his mysterious appearances with us, and we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe.